I don't know what his motivations are from what he looks at the street. I personally don't think it's any of my business. He has property on both sides of the street. Probably like to close off his tennis courts from the house, tennis straight across Washington, perhaps, I don't know. If I had a lot of money, maybe I'd want to close the street. But I don't. Anyway, I think it's a good deal. I hope you guys will work out something that will be amicable for all the concerned parties. Because I think the city of Farmer City, if it works out to everybody's satisfaction, I think you guys will get a pretty good deal for us. I was.
Bruce Damage?
My name is Bruce Damage. I'm acquainted with Mr. Amaker. I'm acquainted with Mr. Schwartz. I don't socialize with either. I don't do business with either. So I don't have, so to speak, a dog in the fight among personality. Personally, I don't care what Mr. Schwartz is doing, as long as it doesn't step on someone else's toe. And I think the big thing we have to be cautious of is that Lynn's toes don't get stepped on in this whole process. We can't overlook an individual's rights for what we perceive to be for other people's rights. He has his. The other thing I'm curious about is why it took so long to bring this out. Nothing frightens people more than what they don't know. And that's where rumor, innuendo, you wouldn't have a meeting like this if it weren't for social media, very little information being out in the public, and conducting things behind closed doors. We all holler about wanting transparency in the city of Chicago and Springfield and Washington, D.C. Let's have some transparency here. Let's put the cards on the table up front. Let people know what's going on. Tell them why it's good. Am I against Casey's growth? Certainly. Am I against the pharmacy in town? No. I hope whoever's going to put in the pharmacy takes a close look at the present Casey's site, because there was excavation going on there around the tanks within the last month or so. I hope it's not contaminated. I don't know that it is, but that would be something I think they would want to check out, and maybe before it gets too far along, it needs to be addressed somehow. Yes, business is good for farmers. And Larry's been down the same road Rod Reeser and I were 35 years ago. We approached McDonald's after the first mini-Mac went into Gibson City. We approached Harvey. We approached Dairy. We approached a number of fast food convenience businesses. The answer was always the same. You're not going to make a living off that everything. You must have the biggest population to support the business. Years later, several people, including my brother, Greg's, Mr. Sendars, Hammers, a number of others fronted their own money and did the engineering and the work which resulted in houses on the west side of town. The city kind of fought us on that halfway. The school fought us. Oh, a TIF district? Oh my goodness, you're taking our money. Well, no, it would have been a pasture if the TIF hadn't been set up to pay for infrastructure. But the city didn't have the dollars to write the check. So I think if you're going to talk about growth, I think if you're going to talk about attracting business, do your demographics. You need population to support those businesses. So I hope Mr. Schwartz benefits. I hope Mr. Amaker benefits. I hope the community benefits. But please quit doing things in secret like the secret society behind closed doors. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let me be open now. Lynn does not need to get screwed in this deal. Agreed? I mean, we don't want that to happen. I can take full responsibility on not being open and naivety, or there were many times, I assure you, that I wanted to bring this out. I was, even up until a week before it was brought out, we did not know if it was going to go through. Because we have been back and forth. And Do I bring out stuff that is a pipe dream? Do I, when is that threshold? When is that point? And I messed up. I'll say, there you go, I messed up.
I'm not going to say that he is first. I'm just saying if you had included that, you would
And
none of the suspension would have grown.
you are exactly right. I think that is, and I'll communicate now. I'm working with builders, Larry's working with the builders. We would like to see the second phase of the community built out there. We want sidewalks out there. We want houses out there. We are working with what we can. But every time I talk to some builders, I get a no, or we get yes. We are working on that. We are contacting other businesses. We are working as fast and as feverishly as we can for economic development, for housing development, and I've got a passion for beautification of the city. The three phases that I'd love to see in this community. I do struggle with when do I present, when do I communicate. Folks ask brilliant questions, and sometimes I would be quick with an answer, and then I would go back to Larry, and Larry's like, dude, you're stupid, you just gave the wrong answer. So sometimes, maybe I get a little gun shy, and I will take full responsibility for that, and it's definitely a learning curve for me on that. But I do believe, if you will notice, you go to our website, we have cameras on us. Why do we do that? Because one day I'm not mayor, one day I'm not city council, and I want to see what's happening. Now, I don't know if the next city council will do it, or the next mayor will do it. And sometimes they probably think it'd be in their best interest not to have it. But I like to have it on us so that people can watch. Why do I have that Facebook site? So that I can communicate, so we can get out there. I am trying to be as open as possible, even at my own self-interest. And I know sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but we're doing our best, and it is a learning curve. So on that,
Spoon Weisbauer.
Spoon Weisbauer, corner of High and West Street. I'm highly against the closing of the streets because we use all these streets all the time for errands and businesses. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Gary Rissler.
Gary Whistler. I've been here approximately 35, 36 years. I basically call this my hometown. I don't have a hometown. I went to school in several different schools with my dad moving from town to town, so I call this my hometown. My kids went to school here. As to why Casey's will not move over to the side of the interstate, I don't know why. They just feel their policy. Okay, so be it, but I don't know why the city has to negotiate with Mr. Schwartz. He said, it's my ball, this is the way I want it, if not, I'm going home. Casey's, he will not, period, just period, he will not negotiate with them. Is that the rules, the engagement, or why will he not negotiate with them?
Because he doesn't care about selling the land to them. He's not interested in selling the land, period. But he is more interested in those two sections of West Street than he is on those 5 acres.
I know, see, and that's the other thing. Well, it's commonly known as the compound down there. It's really a strange thing, because nobody really knows what does or doesn't go on around there. He's never here. You don't know when he's here. He's in and out, but it's all, it's built up and around, it's secretive. I drive that road a lot, every day, but once or twice a week. I like those roads, and we're going to lose, what, the fuel tax, real estate tax, for the roads being closed.
Will we lose fuel tax for
Yeah.
roads being closed? I could ask Larry can answer that.
Road use, or
we'll gain more motor fuel tax by having Casey's there. Those funds are used for the roads.
And, you know, the houses, I don't know exactly how many he's torn down, you know, but people were living in them, and now there's nobody living in them, and there's not any houses going to be built again, so, you know, we're losing buildings. There's nowhere for anybody to come in and move to, really. There's a few rundown places, but I don't know, to me, that just seems like the beginning of the end, to close those, personally. It's like, this is what I want, and that's how it's going to be, and I'm not going to play. I think the city should stay out of real estate business. That's just my opinion. It's not always right. You know, a few years ago, we had Roger Robeson, I believe, wasn't he, on an ad hoc type team that went up and down trying to get business for across the interstate? Wasn't he the leader of that? Yeah, from prefab. I mean, he was on the team trying to get businesses for the land across the interstate. They always came back, they always went to Leroy or Muhammad, you know, and went down the road a little bit. What is holding up the progress over there? There's no utilities yet?
On the 20 acres?
Yeah, across the interstate.
I know that we have had we've had a realtor contact different companies, and I know Monaco said we would love to be out there. As soon as you get somebody else out there, give us a call, and we'll be the second one out there. And utilities are going to be a cost. You know, let me address the money issue.
I mean, there's conduit to use though, correct, under the interstate?
We're still looking at least what you said, $400,000. I mean, you know, you're looking at over $250,000 of money that we don't have. And as you pointed out, in the near future, it's not coming in because we are losing the houses and there is business stagnation.
So how do we fix that?
Well, you could run utilities out there, and then it would be called, of course, the bridge to nowhere. As I'm finding out, I'm working on the South Park project, trying to raise funds to put up more infrastructure there. Nobody wants to get to that because the sidewalk's not built to go over that. And then try to build money for the sidewalk, and they say, what exactly are they going out there to? I mean, so you have that you're dealing with, that nobody's there. We would hope that if a company of size, like a manufacturing company, were to go out on that 20 acres, we would then, I would seek to have the power company fund it because they would be receiving probably the largest benefit from that. But until we had a sure deal, it would be really hard to come up with the money. And it could take, this thing right here has been 2 years, and it was a sure thing. So,
well, that's my next, and then I'll finish up. But the thing, as of like when this did come out, you know, a month and a half, 2 months, whatever it was ago, it was very astonishing, you know, and it surprised a lot of people. And basically, they just came out to where they thought it was, and I'm one of them. It was sneaky, it was sly, underhanded, closing roads, and then you get bits and pieces, and then after that, you know, it goes online and then it spirals. You know? I don't care for closing the roads. I don't want to do it, but I'm old-fashioned. I don't like changes like that. But, you know, when Casey's isn't going to leave, they're not going to pack up and leave by no means.
probably not.
I know, but still, I mean, I support all businesses. I go to Casey's, I go to IGA or Farmers, you know, the new grocery store, Hudson, I do them all, but they all get my money. So I just like to see if you can figure out some way to get this settled without him getting hurt in the wrong run. And you know, something settled would be nice if he would come in and negotiate, explain to the people, of the people, by the people, you know, for the people. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jerry Hahn.
Good evening, my name is Jerry Holland.
I look out and see friends and people that I'm acquainted with and know very well. I guess I'm grateful for this is the only thing that's really dividing our community. I look around the world and we see civil war in Syria. We had fatality here in our home city here, and we're talking about 2 feet of asphalt as a safety point. I think if I took a poll here, I'd say that everyone agrees that we are looking for growth in Farm City, that everyone agrees that land needs to be taken care of, and his property needs to be, he needs to have access, and that needs to be addressed. And so I think that there's, mostly we're in agreement. It's just a matter of what do we do with this few feet of asphalt. And it seems to me like, I came here to find out what the facts were. And it seems to me that the facts are that for those few feet of asphalt, we've got a kind of a wild card in there in Mr. Schwartz. And he is a private citizen. He's got private property. He can do with it as he wants. And he's chosen that he wants to join that property by having 2 streets closed. And in order to do that, he's willing to give the city substantial financial boost so that growth can take place in Lewiston. So it seems to me that that's a reasonable thing. So we've elected people to make that decision. It's a tough decision, and but it's a decision that I don't think should divide us or cause us to be have animosity one towards another. And I've grown up in this town, lived here a long time, and I think we are all basically in agreement on the core issues. So I trust Lynn will be taken care of, and we can look for growth for Farm City. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. One question was raised, and I'd like to address it because I think it's a good question, and it's one I struggle with as well. I am conservative. I think smaller government is better, and I think it was Warren who asked the question, why should we negotiate? And as far as I'm concerned, as the more government gets involved, the more we mess things up, as we can see by the crowd here today. But we've done nothing in this community for a long time, and nothing has happened. Business on its own, for the most part, is not coming. When a space is available, it goes there. We are trying to make space available. We don't have much to offer. We got a pond. We got these 2 little streets. Mr. Schwartz did not come to us. We went to him. He is a private individual, and again, I'm more conservative. I don't think he needs to answer. I think it would be nice. I think she nailed it. It would be nice that gives us an idea of what he wants. Is he tearing it down because, like many of you, when you see an eyesore, you would tear it down too because you would like it to look pretty? That would be nice to hear. It would be nice to hear. Before I ran for office, I heard the biggest criticism of the council was this: they don't do anything but run off business. I have worked, this council has worked, every one of these men, and Michelle, when she was on, they love this community, and they are working as hard as they can to bring in business with limited resources. We have very little to offer. We have very short time. Things will close. You know, we do not have the money that we need to take care of the water infrastructure right now. We do not have the money that we need to take care of the streets. We do not have the money that we have to take care of the things that make this community beautiful. And as those things continue deteriorating, our town becomes less attractive to newer people. Like all small towns, Farmer City is slowly dying. Look at your yearbooks. Look at your football program. Look at the fact that you can no longer house a national chain, food chain. Look at the fact that people are selling their houses to one individual. You're dying. And in 10 years, in 20 years, you will reach that point that you will not come back. And I love the pictures in the history pages, but there's going to come a day where that's all we have. I love this town. It's a hard decision. These men love the town. It's a hard decision. You love this town. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your questions. Sir, I appreciate the information, very much so. And Lynn, you ain't getting screwed.
Gary, you did ask a question and there wasn't an answer. We did do some digging out there. According to the IDOT as-built, there are 2 casings that go underneath the interstate. We don't know the condition that those casings are in. Last fall, we sent the city guys out there. They spent a day. We had Farnsworth Group out there. They surveyed to tell us approximately where those casings were. They did find over in the north side of the interstate, they did find the casings. Now, at the time, the field to the south, on the south side of the interstate had crops in it, so we didn't go there and dig. So, hopefully those casings do go underneath there. There again, according to the as-built from IDOT there in there. And something that I want to throw out there is this particular location, folks, Farmer City's dark. You drive around Farmer City, it's dark. You come in. I've worked midnight shifts many a time. I'll see a car come in off the interstate. They'll see that there's nothing here. They turn right back around.